Hi, everybody. Welcome to Queers and Soaps. I'm Tommy, and today I'm joined by Eric.
Asshole dad.
We're back for some more Santa Barbara. Today, we're going to be discussing the events that happened in episodes 51 to 55. So I'll roll the credits and we'll jump right into it.
Mm.
Okay.
First, I want to go off on you about liking this teen storyline. I'm like, you really like this shit better than the other Hollywood stuff?
No, I hated it this time, actually.
Thank you. Oh my God, I hated it. So I'm like, I'm gonna fight him. I actually was like miserable watching this storyline. I'm like, this is so bad. I hated
I was
everything
kind of
about
miserable
it.
too.
It was bad.
But so anyway, so Augusta is like convinced that Warren is the one that shot Channing.
Channing. She really is.
Because he had broken into the Capwell mansion and stole some things.
So is he a klepto?
I don't know. I feel like he's alluding to something that we don't know yet.
Yeah, I'm like,
he was saying to her, like, if you knew why I stole what I stole, you'd understand, or something like that.
Right.
Almost like the family had a debt that he was trying to pay off or something.
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I don't know. But then why have you held on to these coins for 5 years if there was a debt to be paid? So I don't know. Oh, his tuxedo was torn, so that kind of led to her believing that he had something to do with it.
Yeah. All signs point to him in her eyes.
So Warren goes to visit Gina and her sister Summer, who I keep wanting to call Rachel. I don't know why. I can't. Summer is not sticking in my head.
Really? I cannot get the mom. Remember I texted you yesterday for the name. What is it?
Minx.
Minx.
Yes.
I'm like Misty. I'm thinking every other M name. I know it's an M, but I cannot get Minx. Can't get it. Even like right now, I was like, what is her name? I'm trying to like get it.
Were you like, I know it's like a short, like cute, like nickname or something?
Right. I don't even, I'm like just thinking like Misty. I don't know. I was just had like every M name in my head and I can't stop. Minx. Such a dumb name though.
So I like Gina, but I feel like her acting's a little theatrical.
So I didn't remember that. So Gina gets recasted with Robin Mattson.
Does she?
I'm guessing. I think so because I think Robin Mattson's name was Gina on the show, and as I was thinking, I was thinking, I'm like, I wonder if this Gina hangs around, and I'm like, wait, I remember seeing like Robin Mattson in a picture with another guy, and it was like Gina and somebody, and I'm like, that makes sense because I think she's recasted, and I did look it up. I looked Robin Mattson up, and she's 85 as Gina. And in 84, she played Delia on Ryan's Hope temporarily. I guess the other one was sick or something. So I was like, oh, that makes sense. So she probably is that Gina. So I'm excited to see her as Gina.
I think Matt told me.
A while.
I think Matt told me that. It doesn't sound unfamiliar.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I'm excited to get to Robin Mattson's Gina. I don't know this girl, but she's not terrible. Whatever.
I feel like she's very like, we're going back to LA. Like she's just very like theatrical.
I'm on Broadway. So that always reminds me of like Debbie Reynolds and Will and Grace. How she would. Did you ever watch Will and Grace? She kills me. She's very Broadway and theatrical.
So did you think this was funny? Kelly put out like a personal ad for Dominic to meet her. So they could like talk about Joe. I was like, you put out a personal ad.
I'm really liking Kelly in these.
Now she's all like, I love Joe. I'm like, you do?
She's all like, I love Joe. She's like, if Joe can't be here, I'm gonna represent and I'm like, all right, girl, get it.
She totally swung the other way.
Yeah, right. Like 5 episodes ago, she was like, I hate you. Stay away from me. I can never see you again.
Like, we're only in the 50s. The first, 40 episodes, she was like, stay away from me. You killed my brother.
Right.
I saw
right. Right, and
Um,
that's where asshole dad comes into play. He's like, "Oh, if Kelly believes it, and he saw her with it, like he still has doubts on his own fucking son. Like, what did this son do to you to make you this much like against your own child? I don't makes no sense to me. Makes no sense.
Lionel is still stalking Eden. Every,
Yeah,
every
he's
time he has
creeping me out.
next to Sophia, and it's Eden playing Sophia. Um,
Right,
the far shots of them dancing, they look like wedding cake toppers.
they do. They do. They were interesting, those things. But like, I like what is it, Lionel? I wanted to call him Lyle. Uh, I like Lionel, but like he's acting really creepy, and I don't like this side of him. I'm like, I like him when he's like fighting with Augusta, and he's like all crazy and out there. But this is creepy and weird. I'm like, were you stalking this woman? Because it feels like it.
He's like leaving her gifts to find. I thought it was strange that she like wrote a note and put it in her compact and left the compact on the table, walked away, and then came back to get his note out of her compact. Like
Yeah, it's bizarre.
it, I don't know. I was just like, who's to say that that was still going to be there? How did you know that he was going to write back?
Mhm. And I do like Eden. Remember you asked me last time, and I do like her because I don't like Mason. So she's against Mason. I'm like, okay, I like her. They like fight immediately. She's like, she's like, they basically say they hate each other, and I'm like, okay, I like her.
I don't have an opinion yet. I don't
On Eden,
on Eden yet. I don't love her, but I don't hate her. So like, I'm
I don't
still.
love her. It's only been 8 episodes or whatever,
Um,
but I like her.
I don't know who my favorite Capwell is. I guess Ted.
I don't because I don't like that storyline. It's annoying me. Even though I usually like Jade too, but even she was like, it was just it's a dumb storyline. And I'm like, this poor Ray Walston. What's funny is Ray Walston, who plays Mr. Bottoms, went from this crap storyline for him into Picket Fences, which is like a critically acclaimed show. So I'm like, you know what? I'm glad he got to that caliber again because I'm like, this is shit writing for him. I'm like, I don't like it at all. And he gives it his all in this terrible storyline, let me tell you.
Yeah, I hate it. I hate him.
Yeah, I don't like him either, and I like that actor. He's great.
um, so basically, he hates Ted because he's a Capwell. Um,
Right. Well, Ted was a douche too. He was being a douche in his class.
yeah, but he kind of singles Ted out,
He does. I
which,
agree.
which then forces Ted to react, and then it's a mess.
Hmm. Hmm.
um, like Jade had just previously found out that her brother was possibly dead, and they went to go comfort her, and he was just like being an asshole.
Right.
Um, so I guess we could just get it out of the way. This whole camel storyline was ridiculous.
So dumb.
Like Danny and Ted trying to steal the camel was just so like hijinks and sick. Like I don't know. It
I
was just
know.
bad. It was so bad.
It was dumb. And I thought they were like doing something with a horse at first. Like, wasn't there like a horse or something they were talking about? A horse?
I don't know.
Or was it always a camel? Because I was confused because I'm like, why is the camel there? And I thought they were getting a horse.
And then like
It
Danny
was
was
it
in
was
the in
crazy.
the what do you call it? The barn or whatever, the mobile barn with the camel.
Right.
And Ted's like, "What are you doing in there, old goofy?" I'm like, "This is so stupid."
It was. It was bad. It was tough. It was tough to
Um,
watch.
so, so I wanted to say this before I forget it because I was like, I have to mention this because I thought it was a great like line delivery. So when Kelly is like, snooping around for information, trying to like clear Joe's name, she goes to visit Augusta,
Hmm. I
and
like that.
she's like, she makes it known to Augusta, like, I know the nature of your relationship with Joe. She said, how terribly modern of us to be discussing this. That's how she said it.
Yeah. That was good. I like Kelly. I like Kelly doing this investigative stuff. It's fun for her.
So I feel like Santana kind of cares about Cece a little bit. I don't know. I feel like she's in love with him.
Yes. I know. At first I felt like it was like you were trying to get contact with your kid. I felt like she was an idiot for not knowing that Brandon was her kid already. I feel like she should have known.
Well, she didn't know that Brandon was adopted. The minute she heard adoption, she was like, "That's my kid. That's my son."
Yeah, basically. And she called him. I like that too.
But so yeah, so I feel like in the beginning of all this, it was to get information about Brandon or her son.
Yeah.
She didn't know his name was Brandon. But then at some point, I feel like she dropped looking for her son, and they were actually having a relationship. So she tells her father, who's disapproving of it. I like that Danny.
Another asshole dad.
I mean, he had points. They do work for him. If it doesn't work out, they could end up being fired. It'll be awkward.
And I still don't like her mom either. I think she's an asshole too.
Oh, you don't like her? I like her.
No, she's like telling her like the worst advice. No, don't go find your kid. Yeah, and I like that Santana was like, "What would you do, mom?" And she's like, "Oh yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, it's your fucking kid. Like, go find him. Like, it's ridiculous. Nobody supports these people."
I don't think her mom's like a bad person. I think she's just like she's open to Santana's views on things.
I feel differently. I feel like if she's the grandmother of this child, that she should be fighting for her daughter. And I feel like she's too involved with these Capwells and cares more about them than her own child. I feel like she's an asshole. I feel like the dad's kind of similar. And again, asshole dad, Joe's dad. Same thing. They don't support these kids. They're kids, their own children.
I know Santana
Bothers
is
me.
around for a while because she has multiple recasts. I wonder, and I know that the mother's around for a while. I wonder if the mother gets romantically involved with like Cece or something at some point.
Yeah, we'll see. I wouldn't be surprised. Anything against her own daughter, I'm sure.
So I totally completely forgot about the room with the window to look into Gina's apartment.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And they made it a point earlier in that episode or the episode before that Brandon likes to ride up and down on the elevators. So then, surprise, surprise, Brandon goes missing. But somehow he got his way into the closet that has the window.
I was confused at how he was missing. I was like, wait, how did he get? I thought maybe somebody took him. But then I was like, how does that make sense?
I wasn't worried because I remembered the whole elevator thing. I was like, he's probably just riding up and down on the elevator.
But he wasn't. He was in that room.
My brother did that to me. He liked the escalators. He did that shit to me. And I remember he got in an elevator and he was like 3 and I'm like 9 years older than him. So what was I, 12? And I remember me like as the elevator door was closing and I was like, I'm going to kill him.
Oh my God.
I was like, because my family's going to kill me if I lose him.
And he was like 3. Whoops.
So yeah, so he ended up being in the closet that had the window.
Yeah, just like taking a nap.
And then Warren pretends that he found him in a different closet. And I'm like, this kid can talk. He's going to be like, I was in the closet with the window. I was like, what's to stop him? And sure enough, that's what he says. And it wasn't Warren. It was Peter. I'm getting Peter. I'm getting the blondes. There's so many blondes. The blonde men and the blonde women.
So many blondes. Yeah, Peter. Sorry.
It was Peter.
Yeah, I knew that.
Sexy Peter.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
He says that he was like, how come there's a window looking into your apartment or something like that? Or I could see you. And so Peter plays it off. He's like, oh, he must have dreamt that you saw her.
I like
and
that.
Then nobody questions this kid any further.
Nope.
He's like, yeah, you were dreaming.
It must have been a dream. I mean, he was napping when he found him, so yeah. Which was funny. Wandered into a closet and take a nap. I would do that now, but
so Mason's the one that drops the bomb on Santana that Brandon's adopted.
Yeah.
The dialogue was a little bit choppy because Santana showed up. Cece wanted her to have breakfast with him, and then he was going to take her out to dinner because they made a point of her saying, "Oh, breakfast and dinner." Then next episode, she's at her apartment thinking about Brandon because she just found out he's adopted. She calls Cece and says she's going to make dinner, and I'm like, "You're wearing the same outfit. It's the same day. He said he was taking you out to dinner." I was like, "Did they forget that they did this in the last episode?"
I was confused too. I felt like something was happening that was similar.
Yeah.
That didn't go.
Santana goes to Los Angeles, I guess, to find Gina and Brandon.
Yep.
And when Cece hears this, he thinks that she knows everything and that she's planning to take Brandon. But rewinding, I'm jumping ahead a little bit. He goes to her apartment when he finds out that Santana finds out that he was adopted, and he's like looking around her apartment because I think this is when Brandon was missing, and he thinks that maybe like, Santana took him.
Yeah, he's like, I saw like somebody lurking in the hall, and I was like, what? That was his way to creep around, and she's like, she was confused,
right?
As I was.
Joe was found by some
Russian people.
Russian, Ukraine, something, Yugoslavian, I think they said, maybe.
Right.
People.
That woman looks familiar. Can't place her, but I know her.
She was nice to him. The guy, not so much. The guy was gun happy. He kept pulling the gun on him.
Yeah. Yeah. What's he doing? It's a gun.
I kind of rolled my eyes at Cruz's little light board switchboard that was lighting up in his house. I'm like, okay, yeah, because everybody just had this to look for people.
Like, is Cruz like I don't know. He almost seems like a PI type or something. Like the way he was acting, I'm like, but isn't he just like a crewman?
I felt like he worked on oil rigs because that's like
he was like
what he was doing when he was introduced.
Right, but like the stuff he's doing, it almost seems like he's spy worthy. Like I'm like, are they changing direction here? What's going on here? But he loves Joe, and he's looking for Joe, and he's helping. Because everybody's given up on Joe. The other people.
Did we see Veronica? I know we heard her name.
Oh wait, before, so I wasn't sure if this was a Joe recast at first. He looked different to me, and I'm like, did I just not see him for a while? But it's the same Joe, right?
It's the same Joe. Yeah.
All right. He didn't look the same like the first time I saw him again. I was like, wow, they really got a good recast. He looks just like the other Joe.
We are coming to the end, though. I don't think we have more than 10 episodes with him because I think he gets switched in the mid-60s.
I wonder like how they do it, because I thought this was like the perfect time to do it.
Right.
Yeah, same Joe.
Oh, so Minx is like interviewing for a new chauffeur.
Yeah, what was that about?
I didn't understand like all the secretive, like, I mean, I guess she wants to like do a background check on who's going to be working for her, but like it was just like there was no like build up to it. It was just like this random guy that knew that she had been looking into his like college records and his transcripts and stuff.
I'm wondering if he's going to be like related to them somehow, because I feel like she specifically searched them out. So I'm thinking it actually might be like a story for her.
Do you think like a lost grandchild or son or something?
Maybe.
I don't know.
His name's Brick, and he looks like he's in his like mid to late 20s.
It felt like her version of a Joe. Like Augusta had Joe, and now she has like this beefcake like chauffeur.
Yeah.
It's her Michael from Dynasty, or Tony.
Yeah, right. Oh, Tony.
Augusta finds one of the gifts that Lionel had bought for Eden. It was like a scarf and I think a necklace. And she tries it on and she's like, "Oh, it's not really me, but what do you think?" And he's like seeing her as Eden / Sophia, and he's just like, "You look absolutely beautiful. I've always loved you." Meanwhile, he's like thinking about Sophia.
Yeah.
While he's telling her this.
So weird.
Warren had like a scene where he was like at the beach, I guess getting ready for work, and he took his pants off and he had like
Oh yeah,
his red shorts
I
on,
was
and I was
there.
like, all right, what else you
Mhm.
guys take off?
I thought you didn't like Warren. He's my man.
I
He
still
was
want to
like
see
taking his pants off. I'm like, yes, Warren. Work it,
I still want to see his butt. Like,
I think he's so sexy. I don't know why.
so he has like the box with the coins that he stole in his locker, and
Ancient coins.
ancient, sorry. And Summer comes up behind him and startles him, and he like drops the box, and they like fall everywhere in front of her.
Yeah. Oops.
um, and then he gets like really drunk, and he comes home, and he's just like throwing them all over the house in front of Augusta.
Didn't he say? Didn't he say like that the coins can trace them back to the Capwells? So I think they're the Capwells coins that
Yes.
he might have stolen that night.
Yeah.
So I'm confused by this story. I don't know where it's going.
There was a couple of close-ups of Dominic where it looked like I couldn't tell if it was gloss, like lip gloss, or like Vaseline. Like he looked like shiny and wet where his mustache was.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, I thought the same. I
And I
like
was
that
like,
Dominic's just like in it now, like as a regular character. I'm like, this is weird, but
I
okay.
know when he was like openly not in the shadows talking to Kelly, I'm like, so we're just gonna pretend that this isn't a woman. Like
Yeah, that's exactly what we're gonna do, and we're gonna like it.
he even
I
was
like
like
Dominic though.
he even was like a pilot for CC.
And of course, like Dominic's related to Kelly by what he said, because he's like, I'm concerned about you. You can't be involved in this. Like, there's a killer out there, and they might be killing you next. Like, I was like,
Right,
okay, so we know that this person obviously loves Kelly.
right.
So
Joe's family is really worried. They have like the radio on, trying to hear the news on if there's any word on them finding his body or if he's alive.
yeah,
The dad wants to stay. Jade wants that, and he's like, "I'll stay in Joe's room." And the mom is just like, "Okay."
what made them think a shark got him?
I don't know. Was there like a
Was
shark?
it just?
Were there like sharks sightings before?
That's what I was wondering. Because remember that they say like a shark ate him or something, and I was like, how did they get that idea? Like, maybe he fell off like around a ton of. I don't know. It's weird. I don't know.
um.
But yeah, he's fine. Sort of.
Oh, the new
He's feeling
chauffeur's name is
dangerous.
Brick.
Yeah, that's what I said. I said like 10 times.
Oh, well, when you said it, I guess it didn't click.
I was like, brick, brick, brick. And you're like, yeah, blah, 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 blah.
I was like, why
Yeah,
is he
it's
saying
brick.
Brick?
Oh my God. Sometimes I don't feel like we watch the same show.
uh, so we did see what's her name? Peter's pimp.
Ginger.
Ginger. Love her.
I don't. She is a child pornographer. She gets children to have sex with people.
Okay,
That's
I don't
not,
like her as a
she's P.
person.
Diddy.
I like how the actress carries herself. I like her line delivery. I like how she commands a scene. I like her.
I like the actress, but I do not like the storyline that much.
I was at my friend Kyle's house the other day, and he was talking about this actress because he was talking about the Golden Girls episode, and I was like, "It's funny you bring that up." I was like, "Because she just popped up on the soap opera I'm watching." So then when I
Yeah.
was watching these episodes in the scenes, I paused it and I took a picture and I sent it to him, and he was like, "There she is."
Like it's annoying because like I don't like that she has the upper hand and she's like just like disgusting to me, and I'm like, it's annoying because I'm hoping that Peter somehow gets her at some point.
So Peter originally asked Mason for $270,000, and now he's asking for 230. And Mason was like, at this
No,
point, he's
250.
like, you'll be asking for $5 if I keep
No,
waiting.
remember, so it was 250,000, and then he gave Ginger 10,000, and then the next day he gave another 10,000. So now he's down to 230 that he owes her.
Oh, okay.
So I still don't know why he owes her. I'm confused by that, but
Because I think he just left and he owed her money from, like, I guess whatever jobs he
when she pimped him out when he was
performed and
16.
never paid her.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's like with interest. Because if he had
I'm sure.
$250,000, he should be set for life. Well, not for life, but like he should have a life set up with that.
Right. Yeah.
So he went
I never.
from underage male prostitute to school teacher to now working for Capital Enterprises.
Hey, you gotta work your way up.
Blow up.
Yeah, glow up.
um. So
So
yeah,
yeah,
so,
he
so
gets
Kelly's being
Mason.
followed. Oh wait, rewind. So the people that saved Joe get a newspaper and they see that he's wanted by the police, and he's like, but I didn't do it, and the guy pulls the gun on him, but the woman wants to let him go, so they
Of
said they'll
course.
give him some money. I was like, that's very nice of them to give him money.
Right.
But then he notices their own little like light up switchboard thing that they have going on, so
They're doing something
this is
illegal.
one thing about the 80s that I'm not a big fan of, the whole spy, like Russian spy element that was in everything.
It's it's good if it's done right and if it's not too long. Like the Russian spy on General Hospital in 1983 is really annoying. So I'd be glad it's not
So 83, that was 83, this is 84. I just,
Right.
yeah. I feel like
Yeah, I
Disney
know what you
does their
mean.
version of it too, and I'm just like,
But I feel like this is going to be it. I don't think it's going to be. I mean, it could be ongoing storyline, but I'm thinking that it's just kind
I
of
mean, why would you
done.
have these foreigners find Joe, show us a switchboard, and then not do anything with it? So I feel like it has to be something.
Maybe. I guess.
Um, so of course the guy then pulls a gun on Joe again because he sees that the switchboard, like the map that's hiding it, is like cracked open.
Yeah, he's like he knows too much. I'm like, really? How does he know too much? He just sees the
So a bunch of
switchboard.
lights.
I'd be like, I don't know what you're talking about, but whatever. Do your own thing. I just want to be, with Kelly.
So Kelly's being followed, um, and she ends up in
Hmm.
a church, and I guess the person following her was Joe, because so she's sitting at the church and then he sits in the pew like across from her with like kind of hiding his face,
Yeah.
and we see that it's Joe, the real Joe, not every
Yay.
guest.
Yeah.
um and that's kind of how their story ended for the week.
You have to finish the Mason stuff. So he wanted more, Peter wanted more money from Mason. And then at first Mason was like, no, I'm not going to do it if I don't know what I'm getting in return for $230,000.
Right.
So like he goes home, he fights with Eden. Eden's like, I want part of the company now, or I want to be part of the company. And then he's like, okay, sure. And then like he's like calls them and he's like, okay, I'm ready to talk to you now. I want the information because he knows it's about his dad or whatever because of the kid and all that. That was funny.
I had
So
like an
then he
ick
gets.
moment when Santana and Cece actually kissed. Um and then I
I'm
was
a
like,
little
okay,
tickled by it, but
I was
I
like, I
get it.
know another Cece's coming very soon. I was like, is this one actress gonna have to deal with 3 different Cece's before she's recasted?
Yes, it probably is going to happen that way.
I would have preferred her to be with the first Cece, honestly. I could have probably stomached that better.
I don't mind either CC. They're both very similar. They're both good actors, so it doesn't bother me.
Maybe because I have a history with the first actor.
It doesn't ick me either because it's not like an 18-year-old. If it was like an 18, like this one character in As the World Turns just disgusts me because he like seduces everybody like at 18 and it's ugh, so gross.
Yeah,
James Stenbeck.
it sounds like Larry Welch and Hope.
Yeah, but like again with Larry, at least he only did it with hope. Like you know what I mean? Like it just disgusts me. I don't know.
Yeah.
But so Santana's at least 24 or She looks it. I don't know if she is, but
Is it me,
how
or is
old
her
is she?
hair getting darker every week? I feel like it's
Yes,
getting more
it
and
is
more
darker
red.
every week. It is. Because in fact, I'm like sometimes I forget because I'm like, wait, is that Santana? Oh, wait. Like, as her hair literally, it gradually got darker. It's weird.
Oh, how could you miss her? She has those beautiful eyes that like you can't miss.
Yeah, but like sometimes with like the way it's shown and like it's like blurry on my end. I don't get like clear picture with my internet, I guess sometimes. But
So Matt actually told me that that was kind of like a network note to dye her hair darker
yeah,
because there were so many blondes on the show. Which
yeah, I remember I looked it
clearly
up.
I got Peter and Warren mixed up, and that wasn't even the women.
Yeah, that I think I thought I texted you the interview that I read an interview with her and she had said that they wanted her to go darker and all that
Right.
stuff. So
But it just
because
seems
she
like the
didn't
last
look
few times we watch, it gets darker and
yeah.
darker.
Yeah, I guess they didn't think people would know or it would have been kind of funnier or better if they would have just been like, "Oh, you're darkening your hair," like or something like to like make note of it in the show.
Right. Um,
So yeah, I guess it's going to be fun to see Eden and Mason go at it because Eden's now going to be part of the company and actually doing stuff. So I'm excited for that. I did feel a little bit bad for Mason because nobody seems to really like him or care about anything that he does or anything. Like they're just like, oh, that's Mason. What like they don't care.
do you think it's
I feel a little bad.
because they're trying to like hammer down on the fact that he has a different mother? So it's like he's the outcast of the siblings or whatever.
Maybe, but he does get treated like an outcast pretty bad. Like it is almost sad about. So so I
I
get his actions and
I
stuff.
guess his mother is still alive because there was a scene where he tried to call his mother, but she was out.
Yeah, I guess she'll come to town at some point.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's pretty much all I have. What about you?
Um, let me see.
I felt like
With
a
the
lot happened,
camel,
but not a lot happened. Like,
I felt the same. So with the camel was in the teacher's classroom or
yeah.
whatever, and like he fell over and stuff. I'm like, is he gonna like die or something? I don't know. I didn't know where the storyline was going.
When
But then he was just like, "Oh, I'm mad." I don't know. I still don't know. I'm hoping this part of the storyline is over. I'd rather them be in Hollywood again, though, honestly.
ugh,
Warren's having nightmares about stuff, so I guess I don't know. Maybe he saw what happened but doesn't like remember.
hmm.
Um, because he was having nightmares of like the night. Um, the Russian lady, she said that Joe has a handsome face, which made me laugh. I'm like, that's interesting.
I had a fleeting moment where I thought maybe Warren and Channing were lovers, and that's why he's blocking it out.
No, that would be cool, but Cruz didn't do much. He's just searching for Joe, and everybody, the I guess like the cops and everybody want to give up, and Cruz does not, and neither does Kelly. While Kelly is on her own quest to like prove Joe's innocence, even though she thinks he might be dead.
They're not even after Joe for like Channing. They're after him because of the cocaine that was planted on his bike.
Why is the lockbox at the beach? The one that that Warren went to. That's what I was confused about too. Like, is he hiding it there, like on a good spot, or
His paranoia probably made him move it there. I feel like
yeah,
it's almost like days where like they always have to take what they're trying to hide out and like look at it and talk to themselves out loud so somebody could overhear them.
right? Warren and Summer already like got in a fight, and I'm like, they didn't even go on like they had like one date maybe. Like they're already fighting. I'm like, this isn't gonna go well for them if we're supposed to care. Um,
I guess she sticks around. I don't really care
yeah, I
about her too
guess.
much.
I mean, Warren, I guess, needs a love interest.
I feel like this is their way of pushing Warren into the more adult storylines because
Yeah.
he was at the beach and kind of around the teens at the beginning.
Yeah.
But Santana showed up at Gina's and Cece was there waiting for her when she arrived at the end.
Oh yeah, that'll be fun to see how that works out.
Yeah, I wonder if she could talk herself out of it, or if this is like a fight for them.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess like you said, Joe was following Kelly, but like Kelly is getting in deep. Dominique, what is it? Dominic.
Dominic.
I was gonna say Dominique. Dominic. I'm
It would
already
be
like thinking
Dominique if
it's a
everybody would
woman.
just admit that it's a female.
I know, but nobody seems to know somehow. I thought they
Dominic?
were on to. I thought they were on to that at one point though, because wasn't there like something with like Dominic being in
Joe
some?
knows because Joe caught him.
So Joe knows it's a female,
Yes, pretty
but
sure.
won't. Okay,
Yeah, last time I'm pretty sure that's what happened.
I thought so.
Because we then
So I guess Kelly doesn't though.
Kelly doesn't. I'm pretty sure Joe does because I feel like once Joe figured it out, they also were showing us Dominic putting on the mustache and everything.
The helicopter that Cece got,
Mm-hmm.
Dominic called and asked if they needed a helicopter, so I was confused by that too. And then like Cece was like, "Oh, don't I know you? Didn't I fly with you?" But he's like, "Yeah, I flew with you years ago or whatever." I'm like, where's this going?
So
That's all I got pretty much.
that must mean that Dominic and CC know each other.
Yeah, and Warren is fighting with both Lionel and Augusta. He's pissed at both of them. So yeah, I don't know what's
There
happening
was a
with that.
scene, maybe he was drunk, where yeah, I think he was. It was when he was probably throwing the coins around the house. He was just he had like a silly look on his face, and it looked very much like Lionel, and I was like, they did good casting here. They have similar like facial expressions.
Yeah. Lionel was mad at Augusta for saying that Warren was involved. I'm like, she's just said, and she was even like, I'm just saying, like, I think he did it. She's like, I'm not sure. And he's like, don't ever say that again. My Warren would never do such a thing. I'm like, okay, dude.
I think Augusta said to Kelly that she didn't believe that Joe was innocent. She said to somebody about Joe, she didn't believe Joe was innocent, but she hired him to keep an eye on him, I think.
Yeah, yeah. Because remember, she tried to get him sent away and all that stuff, and
Yeah.
get put back in jail. She
And I
was gonna
think
kill
she
him.
said she tried to get him back in jail to protect Warren.
Right.
Because Joe's been digging. I think that's what happened. Whatever. I miss Augusta and Joe. They were hot together.
I know. I miss that too. If it's over,
I guess that's
yeah, I guess
over.
it's over. Yeah, I guess so. Because now Kelly likes them again.
Because Kelly's now like, I love Joe. I'm like, oh, we're saying it out loud to everybody now.
Yeah, right. Whatever.
I'm surprised we didn't hear the theme song when he sat down in the church.
I just love Robin Wright. I'm like, no wonder why she made it to how far she got, because she's just a good actress. She's so good. She's so committed to this role.
I know that Eileen Davidson plays her the last year or two, and I'm just trying to picture Eileen Davidson being this role, and I'm like, I can't.
I can see it. I can see it for sure.
Because I only know Eileen as like Susan, Kristen, or Ashley. That's it. I've never seen her really in anything else.
Yeah, I love my Eileen.
Do you have anything else to add before we wrap this up?
No.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us for another edition of Santa Barbara. Hopefully, we'll be doing another one real soon. As always, you can find us on all the socials at Queers and Soaps, and on Patreon for some exclusive content at patreon.com/queersandsoaps. And until next time, have a great night. Bye.